Hello friends, Adam here with FED. Today we're going to be doing a tier list for most of the abilities in the game, or skills, or whatever they call them now. And this list is not going to be based on the skills being in the player's hands, but it's going to be like how scary they are on an enemy. So there's some that are scarier than others in enemy hands, even if they aren't very noteworthy in the player's hands. So we're going to be tiering them in 4 different categories, and I'll talk about them each when we get to them. So first, we have all the prowess skills, just represented by Axe Prowess 5 here. I'm not going to put all the different weapon types on here, because I feel the same about all of them. To me, they are essentially a non-issue. And by non-issue, I mean I see them, and I don't worry about them whatsoever. I don't really have to think about it. It's just a skill that's there. You know what I mean? And it's generally counteracted by my unit also having prowess level 5, and it kind of just balances out and doesn't really matter all that much. So yeah, to me it's a total non-issue, nothing to be scared of, nothing to really even think twice about. Next, we have Fares. And again, represented by Lance Fair here, just all of them because I feel the same about this, all the Fares basically. And to me they are whatever. And by whatever I mean they are something you see, acknowledge, and have to take into account when you're doing math and stuff, but overall they don't really affect the game all that much because it's just kind of the static increase. So just the enemy has this +5 and they don't lose the +5. It's as if they just got +5 strength or something, and I don't think it really affects the way you play. It doesn't scare me on sight like other skills do. Next we have all the breaker skills represented by Swordbreaker here. Throw it into annoying tier. Annoying tier being I see it and it is either going to has just a random chance of just ruining everything for me, makes the game just more tedious to play, or in some instances just I really don't like seeing enemies with it, so therefore I put it in annoying, or just prolongs the game when it doesn't need to be. Messes with RNG. A lot of times it's things that mess with RNG that are scary or kind of annoying more than that. So I think breaker skills really do that, especially on maddening, where pretty much a lot of enemy classes have just kind of a set in stone breaker skill that they have. Mercenaries all have axe breaker, Pegasus Knights all have sword breaker, stuff like that, and that is annoying to deal with. I think it's really annoying, just kind of you just lose accuracy. Unless you also have a breaker skill, it's basically the weapon triangle from earlier games in the series without any benefit for the player. It basically just hurts the player, and there's no way for you to use it. So I think if the weapon triangle wasn't a thing in earlier games of the series, this would be less annoying to me, but the fact that it's basically the weapon triangle, except the player just gets screwed over by it and doesn't get any help from it, is really frustrating me. Really annoying. Next we have 2 skills that I think I feel like I have to put them up in conjunction with each other, which are the weapon crit skills. So it's sword crit +20 or whatever it is, or +10. If you have a sword crit equipped, you get extra crit. And then the other skill here is just the flat crit +20 that you get from being in a War Master. So I don't think either of these alone I would put them into annoying, but I think if you were to have both of them, which I'm trying to think, does axe crit and crit +20, do you ever see that together on enemies? I don't think you do. So I'm going to put them into annoying, because I don't think they really hurt that much. So I think they're pretty annoying. The big thing with them is that they can just, force you to use a Divine Pulse or make you lose just because the game decided to kill you. Just because a random number rolled and you got crit instead of just taking a hit. And the more chance there is of that, the more annoyed I get with Fire Emblem. So, yeah, the low crit chances are annoying when they happen, but it's just so frustrating to go up against an enemy that has that really weird middling crit, that between 15 and 30, where it's they might not crit, so I don't really need to, don't plan for it, or maybe I can't plan for it, because of the enemy, just where my player units are at the time, and it's just really frustrating to deal with, and I don't like it. So it's annoying more than scary, because more often than not it's not going to affect you, but it's just a huge annoyance. These next 3 skills are all going to go into scary. I think these can be terrifying, especially if they catch you off guard a little bit. Death Blow and Fiendish Blow, they just add 6 damage to the enemy on their phase, right? And in a game like in a strategy game and a strategy series like Fire Emblem, where most of your combat tends to happen on enemy phase, skills that buff the enemy on enemy phase like this can be pretty scary, especially when you get later into the game where you have like Pegasus Knights or Falcon Knights that have like Lance Fair and Darting Blow, and they can just mess you up real hard, and it's really scary. So and generally, Darting Blow is generally already on enemies that are like either borderline or just are doubling you. So Darting Blow is just kind of like over the top. They're definitely going to double you, and that's frustrating. I think these 3 are pretty scary on enemies. It's one of the few. I think it's some of the few skills that are like really scary on enemies that are also really good for the player. All right. Next we have Armored Blow and Warding Blow, which I'm going to rate basically the same. I think these are pretty much a non-issue. Pretty much a non-issue. There's a lot of times where you not killing on enemy phase on Maddening and 3 houses isn't that bad. It takes up a space that you can get attacked from, and it makes it relatively safe. I don't see Armored Blow and Warding Blow and say, okay, I need to take those guys out as soon as possible so they don't kill me on the next phase. I just see them, say, whatever, I'll kill them on player phase, it's not a big deal. So, with that, I guess I do put some thought to it, I'll put them into whatever. So yeah. Alright, and for Uncanny Blow and, I wanted to call it certain Blow, but it's Uncanny Blow in this game, which is just like, it gives you like plus 30 hit. And then Duelist Blow, which gives you a bunch of extra avoid on your attack. I think I'm going to put Uncanny Blow here. I wouldn't even think twice about it. I can't even think of an enemy that has it because it's a DLC skill. I'm sure it's somewhere. And then Duelist Blow would be a little more scary to see, in my opinion. So we'll put that into whatever, but it's still not something that I'm super terrified of. Alright, now we're going to move into... this is kind of like the... I don't know. This section of skills, I'm going to move past back here for later. This section of skills has to do with like when you're on low HP or just having like avoid and stuff. So we'll do the avoid ones first, and then we'll move into Defiance. So avoid plus 10 is just a static bonus that's on every flyer, so to me it's kind of a non-issue. You see a flyer and you know they have the plus 10 evade, and it's not something I really think about. Alert Stance, if an enemy flyer has this and they just wait, then they just get like plus 30 or plus 15 if they don't have the higher version of it to their evasion on your phase, which is super annoying, especially when paired with like... Again, this is assuming that an enemy does have this. I've played the game a lot, but I do have moments where I don't remember things. And I can't think of an enemy that actually has Alert Stance or uses it. But I just have the thought of like a Falcon Knight in the end game using Alert Stance on their enemy phase, and you not being able to kill them on player phase because of it, and then they're close enough to you to use like a Darting Blow Lance Fair combo and just dominate you. So I think it's pretty annoying. You can get around it just because it's an RNG chance type of thing, but it's still annoying. Alright. Alright, now we're going to the Defiance. I'm going to put this one here and do that one not right now. Okay. Alright, never mind. That's not right. I did want to do this one next. This is just like if you have this weapon equipped, you get plus 20 evasion skills. So like Sword Avoid or Black Magic Avoid plus 20, those kind of skills, represented by this one right here. And to me, again, kind of, I can't think of a time where you see that on an enemy. Someone please correct me in the comments. But I guess that'd be kind of whatever to me, or maybe just annoying. We'll just say it's annoying, because that's just extra RNG chance you have to deal with. Alright, Defiant Evade. Defiant Evade. I think I'm going to put that into annoying. Something that you have to worry about and deal with, and I don't like it. Defiant Crit. I'm tempted to put this one to scary, because it just makes it so like you damage an enemy, and then they just have a bunch of extra crit that can dominate you. There's some bosses that'll do that. So I think I'm going to go scary. I think I'm going to put Defiant Avoid in scary as well. Especially like, I feel like there's some Divine Beasts that have it, and that can be annoying too. I don't know. I'm just going to do that for now. And pretty much all the other defines I'm going to put into whatever. It's things you have to think about, but nothing you have to worry about too much. And I'm just going to have them represented by just one skill here. Pass is honestly, especially early game, is really scary to me. Having every thief / every assassin having pass is like one of the most jerk moves they do in maddening. It is so mean. The first time you encounter it is Chapter 2 in the Red Canyon, and if you're not ready for it, then there's just some thieves that'll literally run through your like units that you have tanking on the bridge or something, and just go to your squishies in the back and kill them. And it's so frustrating, especially if you are new to maddening. So I think that's a really scary skill that you have to like keep in mind, because it really changes the conventions of Fire Emblem and how you defend weak units. I think it's terrifying. Alright. Now we have the seal skill, I'll call them. Represented here by seal attack. So essentially when the enemy attacks you, you lose some stats. And to me, this is, I think more than anything, this one's just kind of annoying. Particularly like seal speed and seal attack. It can really hurt your next player phase. But I don't think it's that scary. I don't think it's going to keep you from surviving enemy phase, unless it's like seal defense or something. I think the seal skills were more plentiful and more nerve-wracking in like Fire Emblem Fates, but here they are less scary, in my opinion. All right, so I think it's called Heartseeker. This skill right here. They use the same icon for like a couple other for Yuritsa's and for Caspar's personal ability as well. But essentially it just makes it so adjacent enemies have less avoid in combat. So to me, kind of a non-issue. I feel like if you're playing Fire Emblem for dodges, more often than not, that's probably not the smart way to play. And this just makes it so you'll dodge a little less often. And to me, it's not that big a deal. Because you probably are just planning on getting hit in the first place, is what I'm trying to say. Alright, Desperation. I've never seen Desperation actually do anything to me. Actually, to the point where I can't think of an enemy that has it. So, Desperation just, I don't know. Desperation's a non-issue. I don't see it and say, oh, I better not leave them at low HP, they'll come kill me. Which could happen, especially if you're like planning on killing on enemy phase while essentially relying on the order of attack to not get killed. I don't think it's that. I don't know, Desperation just doesn't do much for me in that regard. Alright, next we have Quick Riposte, and I'm going to put that into Scary. Quick Riposte, like every Swordmaster on Maddening has Quick Riposte, which makes it so you can't double them, but they always double you when you attack them, if their HP is at a certain point or whatever. And that is honestly the worst. Quick Riposte is just a mean skill on enemies, and it can make them super terrifying when those kill you outright. So, especially on Maddening, where everything doubles you and everything is just super strong. Like, yeah. So, I don't think anyone will disagree with me that that is a horrifying skill. All right, Vantage. I'm gonna put that up here too in Scary. On Maddening, is this all snipers have Vantage or something like that, or is that after a certain point all snipers get Vantage? That's just mean. Like that in conjunction with like close counter is just rude. But so you need to be really careful about attacking archers who have Vantage. I don't think they ever have close counter either, but correct me on that if I'm wrong. But yeah, it's just mean and annoying and really, really scary. And Wrath, to me, is just like scarier Defiant Crit, if I'm remembering it correctly. So yeah, I'm just gonna put it there. Close counter. Close counter to me is just kind of a non-issue. Again, I can't think of it. I feel like enemies don't ever really have it in maybe, except for maybe some specific bosses or something like Claude or something. So it feels kind of like a non-issue, but we'll put it on the list. I'm not really sure where I'd put it if enemies actually had it like more commonly, but I think it's kind of a non-issue. If you see it, you just say, oh well, they're gonna be able to counterattack, but like that's every enemy. So yeah. Which is similar to, I don't know, close counter is a lot less annoying to me than distant counter, or whatever it's called in this game. A lot of bosses will have that skill, and they will just, I don't know, it makes it so you can't have anyone attack them to chip them. So you can't have, you know, your archer from 6 spaces away or whatever it is with like crazy different stuff, or 5 spaces away with a curve shot, take them, like, deal damage safely, or have your mage with the Thyrsus staff or the Caduceus staff attack from a safe range. No matter what, you're going to get counterattacked, and that just makes it a little more annoying to deal with. I mean, overall, I don't think it affects too much. You can still kill them relatively easily, but it's just annoying. Alright, next annoying skill, Poison Strike. Every archer and sniper has Poison Strike on Maddening, and that's just mean. I mean, that's all it really is to it. In the player's hands, I think it's pretty underwhelming. I know there's some people who will swear by it and say it's great for Divine Beast and bosses and stuff. Should I say whatever, meh, you know? I think it's pretty lackluster player phase skill. But I see the appeal on the enemy. The enemy being able to just get free damage on you after they attack is, especially on archers, super mean. It is so mean. Yeah, so Poison Strike, super annoying to deal with. Doesn't necessarily scare me. It might have a while ago, but now I don't think it's that scary. I think it's pretty easy to overcome. Alright, next, 3 of my least favorite skills to deal with on enemies. Not because they're scary, but because they are extremely annoying. Pavice, I don't know how to say that one. Everyone tells me I say it wrong. And Miracle, the most annoying skill in the game. All these do is either prevent... All these do, just like at any random chance that the RNG decides to do, makes it so you can't kill an enemy that you normally would. That's all that's all it does. And this is so frustrating when it happens. That's not the kind of skill that happens and you think, dang, I should have planned for that. You say, well, crap. There's nothing I could have done about that. So dumb. I know there's ways to work through it with, like, especially work through Miracle with, like, gauntlets or brave weapons or the Thunderbrand or something, or swift strikes or point blank volley, whatever. It doesn't mean it's not annoying. It's so annoying. All right, lethality. Lethality, I kind of want to put into whatever or into non-issue. I've actually never seen lethality activate in the game ever. Like, I've never had it activate for myself or anything, and I've had it before. It's just never activated. I'm tempted to put it into whatever, just because it is something you see and say, well, if I can kill that guy without getting countered, it'd be nice. But in all reality, it's kind of a non-issue, because there's no way to really plan around it aside from just, I guess, what I just said. So we'll put it into whatever. All right, Renewal. Kind of a non-issue. I don't see it and really think about anything. Same goes for Life Taker. Life Taker on an enemy is really dumb because, I don't know, if a player unit dies, I'm generally going to just use Divine Pulse or something. So yeah, non-issue. Steel, also a non-issue. Weight -5. I think I'm going to say non-issue for that one as well. I could see why maybe some of you would want it higher than that, but it doesn't scare me that much. Or like at all, I don't even really think about it. Especially later in the game when enemies have such high strength that weight -5 doesn't really matter. Rallies. I don't think I've ever seen an enemy unit use a rally. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But I don't think I ever have, so non-issue. I don't know. If they did have it, it'd be scary, I guess, a little bit. The stat plus skills, I'm going to say non-issue, because again, it's just kind of adds to their base stats as if they had +2 strength and +2 speed. It's just something, yeah, I don't look at and say, oh, I got to worry about that, because it's already shown in all their stats and everything. So, again, I don't really recall that being a common thing you see, but there it is. Hit +20, another one that I don't really remember seeing all that much, but it would be horrifying to see on an enemy. Not horrifying, but annoying. Actually, no, it's scary. I'm going to put it into horror. That'd be horrifying to see. And I think that's all that I really want to talk about. There's some other skills we could touch on, but for the most part, those are the ones I want to speak on. So those are, I feel like, there's some that aren't less common on here, but I feel like I got all the really common skills that you see during your playthrough, especially on Maddening. And these are how I feel about them. Like to me, I think the scariest ones, if I needed to really order this tier, I think early game definitely. I think Pass is really high. I think Quick Riposte is really high, and I think the Bull. I think that's about the order I would do. Then for most annoying, it's definitely these 3 at the top with Miracle, like the most annoying skill in the game. This is annoying to deal with. and yeah, that's probably how to order it here. Whatever, and non-issue. I'm not even gonna bother moving around. So that's my thought. Those are my thoughts on those skills in particular. Let me know if there's any that like I missed that you think would be particularly interesting to talk about, and then maybe I'll mention them in the comments or something. But those are the ones that I don't look at any other skills essentially and say, oh, I should rate that. So yeah, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more Fire Emblem content. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our live streams. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys.